What is Canada? The answer, of course, depends on who you ask. To some, it is an idea, an ambition, a mark on a map. To others, it is a new name for a very old land. To 37 million, it is home. This is a country of contrasts. Canada is water, and it is land. It is flat. It is mountainous. It is cold. It is hot. It is big. It is small. It is life in so many forms. It is traditions. It is modernity. It is mistakes, and it is successes. After 150 years, this nation of nations is searching for a better way forward. And to find it, you sometimes have to go the long way around. The best journeys begin with a splash. At least if you ask Jeff Green. Using a ship as a floating classroom, his educational foundation, Students on Ice, has introduced thousands of youth to the polar regions.
Welcome to Bailey Head, one of the most magnificent wilderness sites in the whole world.
For Canada's 150th birthday, Green proposed his most ambitious expedition yet. Only this time, with students of all ages and walks of life. Scientists, educators, artists, athletes, business leaders, chefs, politicians, newcomers, elders, and youth. A microcosm of Canada's astounding diversity. Selected as ambassadors to share their experiences with millions of Canadians.
Communities are working with biologists.
Spread across 15 legs of the journey, they would sail by icebreaker from the Great Lakes to the Atlantic Ocean, through the Northwest Passage to the Bering Strait, and finally to the Pacific Ocean. Visits to shore would foster new perspectives and connections. Conversations on the ship would focus on the environment, youth, diversity, inclusion, and truth and reconciliation. A journey about where we've come from as a country, where we are now, and where we are going. And so, Canada C3 was born. From Toronto to Victoria, via water over 150 days. The 3 C's of the expedition stand for coast to coast to coast, or possibly crazy, crazy, crazy. Built in 1958, the MV Polar Prince, formerly the Sir Humphrey Gilbert, had a distinguished career in the Canadian Coast Guard. Now it will serve its country again. In the months before departure, the icebreaker needs to be transformed from a polar workhorse into a multi-purpose expedition vessel, part floating conference center, part research platform, part home away from home. So the C3 team paints the ship and readies the rooms. They store Zodiacs on board for research and exploring. They build science labs. They renovate the helicopter hangar into a meeting hub. They stock the ship with food and provisions. They install a media studio and satellite dish to share stories along the way with Canada and the world. And last but not least, they get ready to navigate 25,000 kilometers along the world's longest coastline.
Good evening, everybody. Bonsoir tout le monde.
It's June 1st, Departure Day in Toronto.
We're going to be setting sail in about 45 minutes.
There are blessings, speeches, and cheers. The lines are ready to be cast off.
I offer my prayers that the ship might have a safe journey all the way through its travels along our coast.
Canada C3 is finally at sea, or more accurately, at lake. In the Iroquoian dialect, Ontario means Lake of Shining Waters, and it truly is a great lake, the 14th largest in the world. As for the name Canada, it comes from Kanata, an Iroquoian word for village. On the ship, it is already starting to feel like one. As the ship leaves Lake Ontario and navigates down the St. Lawrence River, we learn about the mighty river's importance to the communities along its banks and to Canada's history. At least one special guest on board has traveled the St. Lawrence River before. Paddle to the Sea helped inspire the C3 journey with its cinematic odyssey and will travel all the way to Victoria with us.
We're going to invite everybody to the hangar this morning at 9:30 for a briefing about our plan this morning.
Diversity sings from every street here. If we're clearly a nation of rivers, the vibrancy of cities like Montreal shows we're also a river of nations.
Rivers of nations, nation of rivers, flowing together on the way to the sea. Sowing our stories of the bees of a wampum. Le sang les couleurs de la ceinture fléchée. We are the rivers on the way to the sea.
Bienvenue à Rimouski.
Canada's diverse youth have some of the most innovative ideas about this country's future and the fiercest determination to make a difference. Environmental stewardship, social justice, and other pressing issues matter urgently to them. Education is key to empowering youth to become civic leaders. In this respect, L'École de Grand Pavois de Saint-Ignace in Rimouski, Quebec is right on track. Designated a blue school because of its special focus on the ocean, students here study science, history, the trades, and the arts, all with a marine emphasis. The future of Canada's coasts are in good hands with youth like these. But the present is very concerning. Biodiversity loss, climate change, plastics pollution, these are just a few of the environmental threats facing Canada and the world.
By the end of this century, the upper projection now is 3 meters of sea level rise, 3.2 meters.
Through 23 distinct research projects, scientists on board Canada C3 are studying these issues as part of the first Pan-Canadian research expedition. Coastal and marine issues matter to all Canadians, whether they live on a coast or not. Water connects everyone and is crucial to everything. We are an ocean nation.
Happy Canada Day! Joyeuse Fête Canada!
Fireworks light up the sky. It's Canada Day in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, and the country is marking its 150th anniversary of Confederation. Earlier that weekend, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau visited Canada C3, toured the ship, and met with C3 participants.
I would say C3! C3!
But not everyone is celebrating Canada's birthday. When C3 participant Stephen Kakfwi, former Premier and Dene Chief from the Northwest Territories, opens up about surviving residential school, tears start to flow. The mood on the ship takes a turn, from celebration to introspection. For a long time, the darker side of Canada's history wasn't taught in textbooks or classrooms. Entire generations of Indigenous peoples across Canada were stripped of their land, traditions, and culture. The federal government undermined their self-determination and did not uphold their human rights. No wonder some First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people were hesitant about joining Canada C3. A deep mistrust towards this country is understandable.
A lot of them lost their lives because of it.
But this makes Indigenous people's participation in this journey all the more crucial, so that others can listen to their experiences and learn the truth. One place this happens is in the Gord Downie and Cheney Wenjack Legacy Room. This room is the heart and soul of the Canada C3 ship. It was named for Cheney Wenjack and Gord Downie. Wenjack, a young Anishinaabe boy, died running away from residential school. One of more than 4,000 children known to have died in the context of the schools. The late Gord Downie, one of Canada's most revered musicians, brought Cheney's story and memory to Canada's attention. The Legacy Room provides a sacred and safe space for ceremony, music, reflection, and conversations, sometimes difficult ones.
We are resilient. We are adaptable.
and we will never be ashamed of being Inuit.
Filled with artwork and ceremonial items gifted to C3 from across Turtle Island, the Legacy Room is a place of teaching, healing, and awakening. Canada C3 is unfolding as a voyage of reconciliation. Beyond the Legacy Room, Canada C3 participants face the truth about Canada's treatment of Indigenous peoples, such as the Inuit in places like Hebron. This former community in Nunatsiavut was established in 1829 by the Moravian Church, which sent missionaries here to convert the Labrador Inuit. Just over a century later, in 1959, the government and church relocated the community, claiming Hebron's remote location made it too expensive to administer.
Like a little break, or you?
No one asked the Inuit if they wanted to leave. They were forced to abandon the home they'd always known and move south to places like Hopedale and Nain. The land was different, the hunting was different, everything was different. Yet these displaced Inuit communities found ways to keep their traditions and culture alive. Another step towards reconciliation is respecting the many distinct Indigenous peoples across this country and their profound connection to the land. On the northern tip of Nunatsiavut, we visit the awe-inspiring Torngat Mountains National Park. Named after the Inuktitut word for place of spirits. This is one of the few parks in Canada co-managed by Parks Canada and Indigenous peoples. Elder Sophie Keelan was born in what is now the park. Every time she goes back, it feels like a homecoming. For Inuit, land isn't the sort of thing you own. Instead, it is something you are a part of, that you respect and revere. Land is sacred, and what matters is your relationship to it. Inuit famously have dozens of words to describe snow and ice. We understand why as we travel further north. Inuit Nunangat, the Inuit homeland, makes up 35% of Canada's landmass and 50% of its coastline. Ice is essential to the Inuit way of life. People live, travel, and hunt on it. Ice is also the habitat that supports the Arctic's rich biodiversity. These days, though, the ice is getting thinner, more unpredictable. Once a rare sight in Arctic waters, tabular icebergs like the one we spot off Baffin Island now appear with increasing frequency. The source is Greenland's rapidly melting ice cap. This island of ice is the size of a city block, a monument as sublime as it is sobering. A sign of a changing climate and a changing Arctic. We rejoice at the iceberg's numinous beauty, but lament the reason it is here. Our arrival in Pond Inlet, Nunavut, marks the halfway point of Canada C3, 75 more days to go. It's also where we rendezvous with the Students on Ice vessel.
Canada C3 and Students on Ice here in Pond Inlet, Nunavut. Amazing.
We both arrived just in time to join the announcement of the intention to create this country's largest marine protected area.
We were all connected. We all need to act together.
Twice the size of Nova Scotia, and a big step towards Canada's goal of protecting 10% of our coastal and marine areas by 2020. Lancaster Sound, known in Inuktitut as Talirutiu-Emanga, is sometimes called the Serengeti of the Arctic because of its breathtaking biodiversity. It's a haven for migratory birds, and its waters teem with narwhal, beluga, bowhead whales, seals, walruses, and polar bears. This habitat and these species are pivotal to the traditions and diet of local Inuit, who are taking a leading role in the creation and management of this national marine conservation area.
Go for hurricane.
You can go inside as soon as you come home this week.
Bearing witness to the changing Arctic climate is our captain, Stefan Guy. In his decades of piloting icebreakers for the Canadian Coast Guard, he has seen the Northwest Passage go from a navigational risk to a regularly trafficked route. Traveling this cold labyrinth has almost become routine during the summer months, with the emphasis on almost. In 2017, safe passage is not assured. The open waters of Talirutiu-Emanga made the Northwest Passage seem inviting.
Commençait à faire notre entrée dans le détroit de Franklin. On a réalisé que beaucoup de glace s'était déplacée de l'ouest vers le détroit de Belleau. Donc, le corridor pourrait s'être fermé.
You can go inside as soon as you come home this week.
The C3 ship soon meets a cold wall in Bellot Strait.
All right, Roman, ease to 270. 70.
Fortunately, the icy dead end is temporary. We meet two small sailboats struggling to make it through the ice. They are very happy to see us. With a little luck and some expert piloting, we clear the toughest part of the Northwest Passage. As if commemorating this milestone, the Northern Lights make their first appearance a few days later as we sail through Bathurst Inlet. One of our next visits is with the community of Kugluktuk Nunavut at the mouth of the Coppermine River, where an Inuit elder named Roger Hikkaluk joined C3 for a leg. He shares a story about how a storm wrecked his family's boat, stranding them on Putalik, or Sutton Island. Roger was only 5 years old. For 3 months, they subsisted by hunting seals, Arctic hare, and ptarmigan, waiting for the sea to freeze so they could travel home. In the C3 spirit, we decide to change course towards Putalik so Roger can revisit the place he was once marooned, and with it, some of his earliest memories.
Well, you should be the first one to step on the shore. All right, let's go get ready.
Okay.
All right.
Roger and his family were not the only ones to seek refuge from a storm here.
We have a discovery.
What's in there?
We don't know yet.
There's a message here.
What's in it?
Found shelter here from a terrible storm on August 23rd, 1986, in the year of our Lord. Signed Captain Tom Camsell, MVJ Matson.
Canada's 28th Governor General and C3 participant, His Excellency the Right Honorable David Johnson, penned a reply and put it in the rusty can together with the original note.
It says, gathered at this cairn to watch a glorious sunset in the west. David Johnston, Governor General of Canada, September 4, 2017, with 20 great people from the Polar Prince and the C3 expedition celebrating Canada's 150th birthday.
Yeah, in here. And the way we did it.
We find other messages from the past on this island and across the Arctic, which hide a rich human history in plain sight. Archaeological remains from the Dorset and Thule cultures are a testament to the ingenuity and resilience of Arctic peoples. Nothing puts Canada's 150th birthday in perspective like walking in the footsteps of those who lived here thousands of years ago. Inuit are incredibly resilient people. But the aftermath of colonialism and the resulting inequities still faced by many Inuit have created difficult challenges for the 51 isolated Inuit communities. Food is expensive. Access to housing, healthcare, infrastructure, and educational opportunities are limited. Jobs can be scarce. There are also opportunities. Tuktoyaktuk in the Northwest Territories is about to go through a fundamental change. When we visit the Inuvialuit hamlet, it is reachable only by plane or boat in the summer and travel by ice road in winter. In the fall of 2017, a year-round highway from Inuvik changes all that.
This is a big year for you guys, and we're thrilled to be a part of it as we connect the country as well. So we're kind of on a similar mission.
Yeah.
It also connects Canada's 3 coastlines by road for the first time. Residents hope this fixed link will be a path to a better future for the community. Kikik-Taruk, or Herschel Island, is our only stop in the Yukon. This has been an important gathering place for thousands of years. It is one of the places where we meet with our friends, the Royal Canadian Navy. Offshore, the wind is rising. In the Beaufort Sea, there's not much for it to hit up against for thousands of kilometers. Refueling the ship requires a delicate dance.
Captain, refueling rate is only...
As we exit Canadian waters and sail between Alaska and Russia, we enter the roughest seas of the expedition. Seasickness becomes a fact of life. Sometimes you have to leave a place to see it properly. When we finally lay eyes on Canada again after circling Alaska, this country has never looked so inviting. Possibly because the first place we visit is the Nass Valley. These lush rainforests, salmon-rich rivers, vast mountains, and sweeping lava beds in northern British Columbia belong to the Nisga'a Nation. For 113 years, they pushed the federal and provincial governments to recognize their Indigenous rights and title. The treaty the Nisga'a signed in 2000 gave them the right to self-govern, and with it, control over their destiny. Whatever forms reconciliation takes, and surely it will require many, self-governance for Indigenous people seems vital to it. Inuit, First Nations, and Métis across Canada deserve the dignity of deciding their own future. After all, who takes better care of a place than people who have always lived there and never intend to leave? Across the Hecate Strait on Haida Gwaii, the sacred and ancient groves of Gwaii Haanas are intact because the Haida Nation fought so fiercely to protect them. On the mainland, 9 BC First Nations came together with scientists, NGOs, and the provincial government to ensure spirit bears would always have a sanctuary in the Great Bear Rainforest. As we make our last few community stops of the C3 journey, it's clear there's so much we can learn from each other.
We have the Haitian group building a canoe right now in the spirit of reconciliation between our non-native community and the Tuaman Nation people.
We come to our big house, the house of Duakawa. We do have some protocol when you go into our house. We ask that you keep the fire to your left at all times.
We all have something unique to bring to the dance. Whether we are one of the many Indigenous peoples in this country or a settler, no matter your age, creed, color, ability, or identity. Metaphorically speaking, we are all in the same boat. Like Canada, it's not perfect. But if we keep patching and repairing its holes, it can take us where we want to go. We just need to paddle in the same direction. Or as C3 participant and former Truth and Reconciliation Commissioner Marie Wilson pointed out, we can all be in our own distinct boats, canoes, kayaks, punts, as long as we're headed in the same direction and look after the water on which we all depend.
Going to be on deck to fly Jim, sign on.
Hello, Vancouver. Wake up, Vancouver. It's been a long journey to get here, but we're just absolutely thrilled and honored to be on your traditional territory.
So I'll make it 10:15 here. This is only 2 miles for Laurel Point.
It's hard to believe we're going to be arriving to Victoria. It's a bit of a daunting, overwhelming, exciting, inspiring feeling. When we planned this crazy trip on the back of a napkin 3 years ago, we've said October 28th, Victoria, British Columbia. And here we are. the napkin plan worked.
Everybody's come out to see us. This is awesome.
You ready?
Oh, yeah.
150 days after setting sail from Toronto, Ontario, we arrive in Victoria, British Columbia.
So many people!
The final destination of Canada C3.
Captain, congratulations. We did it. Amazing.
Or is it the final destination? As we leave the ship, we start on another more important journey. Carrying the C3 legacy forward, every one of us, in ways big and small.
We're here. We made it.
There will be new songs, artwork, films, and books, new science projects, educational initiatives, and conservation programs, new narratives, innovations, partnerships, and possibilities. The C3 expedition changed us individually and charged us collectively with a hopeful vision.
Love you, and thanks for being a part of Canada C3. Merci beaucoup.
In the presence of trees older than the idea of Canada, in cultures so rooted to the land that they are thinking, dreaming extensions of it, in the experience of elders and the enthusiasm of youth, in remembering history and making amends for it, in being inspired by educators and innovators, in connecting to each other and to the earth from coast to coast to coast. We caught glimpses of a possible future. The question is no longer, what is Canada, so much as, what can Canada become? A village we can all belong to and be proud of. A true nation of nations moving forward together. A true river of nations moving forward together.
The sun and moon, wind and water carry us, we are a canoe, sailing with no distance between us is long overdue. Entends la mer, l'air et la terre, calme l'envol au gré du vent. Conjuguant nos corps au présent, nous prenons le large. Nous prenons le large. River of nations, a nation of rivers, flowing together on the way to the sea. Sewing our stories with the beads of a wampum. Nous sommes les couleurs de la ceinture fléchée. We are the rivers on the